you looking forward to?
Bro, I really wanted to fight Shakur bad, and he's out here saying, "Oh, I'm the best."
He thinks he's the best, and he's already willing to go up to 144. Just go 3 more pounds. You know what I mean? It's the same shit. He thinks he's the best, and he's already willing to go up to 144. Just go 3 more pounds. You know what I mean? It's the same shit.
You're not gonna struggle.
What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, and I'm back at y'all with another one. So, as you just heard, 2-division world champion, undefeated, top 10 pound for pound best fighters in the world, the Mexican Ecuadorian monster, David Benavidez. As David Benavidez weighs in, David Benavidez is 31 wins, no losses, no draw, 25 big wins by way of knockout at 29 years of age. He got a big fight coming up against Zurdo Ramirez, who is 48 wins, 1 loss, no draw, 30 wins by way of knockout. That is May 2nd. With that said, he sat down with newly crowned WBC welterweight world champion, Mexican superstar boxer, King Ryan Garcia, who is 25 wins, 2 losses, no draw, 20 wins by way of knockout. And he asks Ryan Garcia, as you heard there, what is your biggest desire for your next fight? And Ryan Garcia says, first ballot Hall of Famer, undefeated 4-division world champion, former unified super featherweight, Olympic silver medalist, who should have been Olympic gold medalist, and reigning WBO junior welterweight world champion, superstar boxer, who is top 5 pound for pound best fighters in the world, in Shakur Stevenson. Shakur Stevenson is 25 wins, no loss, no draw, 11 wins by way of knockout. And as you heard, the Mexican Ecuadorian monster, he stated, if Shakur Stevenson, because now, remember, Shakur Stevenson, Ryan Garcia have been going back and forth. Shakur said he wanted to fight Ryan at a catchweight, 144. Ryan and his father, Henry Garcia, father and trainer, again, as I always tell you guys, they are notorious and habitual liars. They stated they can make 140 because Ryan is so disciplined that it's very easy for Ryan to make 140. So Shakur called their bluff because remember, Henry Garcia is the one that was on Mill City Boxing. Shouts out to Mill City Boxing. Henry Garcia was on Mill City Boxing, and he said, the fight we want next is not Devin Haney. We want Shakur Stevenson. So Shakur Stevenson said, I'm down. Let's make it happen. Since you said you can make 140 pounds. Shakur said, I'll do it at 144 catchweight. That's what they said. There's a lot of contradiction going on in the sport of boxing. And I'm going to point it out every day because it's the sport I love. That's what they said. Has Shakur contradicted himself in the past? Yes. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about this situation. He never said he was going to fight Ryan at 147. So, do I agree with David Benavidez, who says if Shakur thinks and wants to be the pound for pound best fighter in the world, like I'm chasing? That's what he said. I'm chasing number one. That's what David Benavidez said. If Shakur thinks he's number one, he don't need to do a catchweight of 144. It's only 3 pounds. Go up to 3 pounds and prove you're the best. I agree with David Benavidez. It's only 3 pounds. And in the past, Shakur stated he was eventually going to go to 147 and collect all the belts. So I agree. The problem is, Ryan Garcia didn't tell David Benavidez the whole truth, who I'm sure hasn't been keeping up with this entire saga and the thread. Ryan Garcia is the one that said, I'll go down to 140. Shakur only had one fight at 140. That was his last fight and his debut when he absolutely demolished Teofimo Lopez and won every single round. He never said he was going to 147. Now, he did say, in contradiction with the Conor Ben situation, he'll go to 54 with a rehydration clause. But for Ryan, he never made mention of that. He said for the right fight. So in this situation, Ryan, as I tell you guys all the time, and his father, Henry Garcia, always putting the carriage before the horse. They the ones that opened their mouth and said Ryan looks so good and so healthy because he's so focused that he can make 140 easily. So Shakur said, I'm down. And then Shakur said, to give you even more leeway, I'll meet you in the middle. I'll come to 144. And Ryan said, I don't want to come to 144, down to 144. I want to take Shakur Stevenson belt at 140. And now Ryan is at it again, saying that he don't want to fight below 147 and leading David Benavidez to think that Shakur is trying to weight drain him, when he, in all actuality, is the one, him and his daddy, who jumped into the Shakur Stevenson mix. And Shakur Stevenson just pushed for it. He never mentioned, at least not in my awareness, that he wanted to fight Ryan until they started making mention of his name. Henry, on Mill City Boxing, stated, I don't want Devin Haney. They don't want to fight us. We want to fight with Shakur after what he did with Tio. And Shakur just said, I'm your huckleberry. That's it. That's all. So do I agree with David Benavidez? If Shakur wants to be considered the pound for pound number one fighter in the world, he got to fight Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia at 147? Yes. And you got to fight initially, you got to eventually fight Keyshawn? Yes. Remember this. Roy Jones was active. Floyd Mayweather couldn't say he was the best fighter in the world. You know why? He was never going to go to 168, 175, 160 to fight Roy Jones Jr. So he never surpassed Roy Jones until Roy Jones started getting knocked out and losing late in his career. That's when Floyd Mayweather surpassed Roy Jones. But as they were both active, Floyd was a pound for pound top 5 best fighter in the world. He was a 4-division champion. He was already a Hall of Famer before he fought Oscar. But he needed the fame from Oscar, and he needed Roy to lose because he was never going to fight Roy. And if Shakur, as I told you guys before, it's just like Terrence Crawford. Terrence Crawford could not surpass Andre Ward. He was never going to fight Andre Ward. Andre Ward was too big at the time. He eventually fought at 168, but Andre Ward fought at 68 and 60 and 75. He was the pound for pound king. He won the Super 6 tournament. He dominated his 2 divisions. He was the king. And when he retired, because of the size difference, Terrence Crawford inherited that and kept the baton. It's the passing of the baton. But you can't have guys in and around your division and your weight class that you refuse to fight, like Keyshawn, because he's your brother. Andre Ward didn't have brothers. Terrence Crawford didn't have brothers. Floyd Mayweather didn't have brothers that were standing in the way of them and their supremacy. They didn't have that. Sugar Ray Leonard, he didn't have that. Roy Jones, he didn't have that. Muhammad Ali, he didn't have that. You can't dominate and be considered the best fighter in your era if there's guys you're not willing to fight who's in and around your weight class because they're your brother and they're not your blood brother. Or because they're too big and they're only 7 pounds bigger than you. That's never going to fly. Imagine Terrence Crawford saying he was the best fighter in the world at 160 while Andre Ward was fighting at 168. People would have demanded to see, oh, you the best? You got to beat Andre Ward. Just like they did with Triple G. That's why Triple G was never considered the best in the world. That's why Canelo was never considered the best in the world. Because Andre Ward was standing there. And so I agree with David Benavidez when he says, you got to go up and compete against these guys. Not just Devin Haney and Ryan, but you got to fight Keyshawn as well. There's no way. There's not room for 2. 2 lions can't rule the jungle. Don't operate like that. And so therefore, I told you guys He'll never get credit for beating Ryan Garcia unless he beats Ryan Garcia at 147. Period. There'll always be an asterisk by it. But let me know what y'all think. Drop a comment in the comment section. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. I'm gone. Peace.